All right, let me make sure everything's up and running. All right. Playboy's in here. People just getting in here. All right. You guys know the drill for game one of the NBA, right? I don't even need to go over it, do I? I mean, we already covered it thoroughly before the game got here. But again, we are expecting the Celtics to split in Indiana so that their record's 52-34. Indiana's 52-34. That's still the thought there for the Celtics game. So I'm on the Celtics today. 52-34. Today they pick up the 34th loss. Let me make sure how early is the earliest NHL game here. 3 p.m. Eastern, so we have till noon. All right, so we got time there. So again, let's review real quick, give people time to get in here, and I'm assuming people already know what I think for the earliest NBA game today, since we went over that thoroughly. But let's review yesterday's NBA games. We had two games that we wanted to pick on. They were both right. The other ones were hard reads. There wasn't any clear indicators. 76ers Nets was iffy. I thought, no, 76ers won with 112 points. Brooklyn 112. It looks like the Nets are done because the next game is on a date with 39-66 numerology. And if the Nets lose, they'll be 39-66 in Philadelphia. Those are revelation numbers. Philadelphia named from Revelation. So it's looking like the 76ers are going to win this series 4-1. Brooklyn equals 41. Brooklyn's also 112, like they just closed them out with 112 in Brooklyn. We like the Nuggets to beat the Spurs in a big way yesterday. I'm sure we were all grinning when we saw the stats up. Nuggets end losing streak in San Antonio at 14 games. But again, Nuggets got their 63rd playoff win yesterday. Spurs got their 36th loss of the season. We had three riddles, date numerology on both sides of the equation, plus a streak ending at 14. Those are three variables we always look for. And, you know, that's as close to as good of an alignment you can get anytime you make a pick. Chris down in Vegas called me up yesterday, and he went big on this game, but I could tell he was a little anxious before he's bet. He's like, do you think I should do it? I said, well, man, I can't tell you how much to bet, but I mean, the game looks really good. So I know Chris is a happy camper today. Maybe he'll just even skip gambling today. But, you know, it's like Picks Money when he called in yesterday. I was like, well, I mean, we already got two games we really like. Why are we looking at the other games? I mean, just bet on the one that looks strong. I mean, instead of just spacing it out, when you got a read like this is the game. So, and Bucks won. You know, they covered the spread. Bucks got their 63rd win of the season on the 63 date. We couldn't get much of a read on the Rockets Jazz game. So again, these were the two NBA picks. The date numerology, there wasn't any variables to go off for the other two games. And in the NHL, the one hockey game I liked was the Capitals to beat the Hurricanes. And I think they beat them pretty good. So 6-0. Again, Hurricanes picked up the 71st playoff loss on the 20th. 71, the 20th prime number. Prime numbers typically hitting. Let me make sure people are getting in here. Okay, good. And I said if you wanted to go for a strategy for NHL tomorrow, maybe bet all the home games. I bet 2 out of 3 hit. Well, that's what it ended up being. Blues in their 42nd playoffs did close out the Jets 4-2. And you know what I should have thought of yesterday is that Missouri equals 42 because St. Louis is in Missouri. I didn't think of that until after I did the decode. But I imagine 2 out of 3 home teams would win, and that's what it was. I'm a little bit surprised the Predators went down. I'm assuming they're going to come back and win this series because, again, I'm expecting all the teams with the 101 connections to advance. I could be wrong about that, but the Predators are one of those teams. So, but anyway, our 3 playoff picks that we liked, they all hit yesterday. The George Herbert Walker Bush riddle came through in a big way. I hope you guys took advantage of that because that was the best payout pick yesterday. But the baseball game that had an awesome read yesterday was the Cardinals. Both pitchers had the 96 connection. You had the 63 date numerology. Cardinals equals 63. They got to 6-3 at home. They won big. So that was a good one. The Royals equals 27 in the most pure cipher, 36 with the S exception. It was also a 36 date numerology. They had a little prayer, but it wasn't as strong as this because you had both pitchers going 96 here. You had Cardinals 63 date. So this was the stronger pick. This one came through. We couldn't get a read on Diamondbacks Cubs. The Twins, remember yesterday, the Twins-Orioles game? We said if the Twins win the first one, they'll win the second one. They'll get to 6-3. They did. And the Twins had the pretty good alignment for the morning, too. They had the 107 pitcher, plus there was something else. So I'm not surprised that the Twins won this doubleheader. Had the Orioles won both, they would have gotten to 3-6 at home on a 36 date, but the Twins definitely had the better read to win both, and they did. Giants, Pirates, we couldn't get the read here, couldn't figure it out. Blue Jays, Athletics, same thing, couldn't figure it out. Braves, Indians. I thought whoever won the first game of this doubleheader would win the second. Unfortunately, that did not come through. Both teams could have been 11-9 if Braves won both. Indians equals 119, or the Indians could have got to 13-7, like 137, the 33rd prime. Both teams have the 33 connection. Indian equals 33. So I'm actually surprised that they split this. I thought the riddle was there. The Red Sox and Rays, we said whoever wins today or yesterday, good chance that by the end of today, the Rays are 8-5 at home. So we'll look at that game. David Price is on the mound for the Red Sox, who used to pitch for the Rays. But I think there's a good chance the Rays get to 8-5 today because Boston's 85, Red Sox is 85. So we'll look more at that. I looked at this real quick yesterday. It wasn't strong, but I thought, the Marlins got numbers to beat the Nationals. And somebody in the chat said, no way. Scherzer, great pitcher. Nationals, horrible hitter. Impossible, or something like that. When you guys say comments like that, it tells me that you're either new here or you're not getting it. These games are rigged and scripted. So it doesn't matter if it's a great pitcher versus a horrible hitting team. If the script's in that day for the pitcher to get blown up and the team to win, that's what's going to happen. And that's how you take advantage of gamblers. The entire world of sports is scripted. Scherzer's a great pitcher because, I don't know, he had the right father or something. You know, I mean, obviously he's a good pitcher, but a lot of these guys, their greatness is really because their whole career is scripted, like Tom Brady. Case in point. Dodgers and Brewers couldn't get the read there. But the Rangers, we talked about George Herbert Walker Bush. I said this was the George Herbert Walker Bush riddle, him dying at 94. George Herbert Walker Bush equals 118. Rangers get to 9-4. And look at what they won, you guys, 9-4. This really was the George Herbert Walker Bush riddle. He died in Houston. The Bush family used to run the Rangers. The weekend, for those of you who are new here, the weekend that Bush died, you should have seen the tributes in the Houston Texans football game for George Herbert Walker Bush. Number 41 getting his first interception for a pick six. You know, HW number 41, dead on 11-30, 11 plus 30, 41. But he died at 94. That's why once I clued into that yesterday, I was like, yeah, this is a good pick. Rangers to beat Astros is a good pick. If the Astros win today, they'll get to 14-7. Houston Astros 147, so we'll look at that. Phillies beat the Rockies. I thought the Rockies could get it done here against the Phillies. That pitcher was going for his 18th win for the Rockies on the 18-date numerology. Rockies equals 35 in the most pure cipher, but it also does equal 44. We said that was the one thing for the Phillies. They could get to 4-4 away. So, but I'm just noticing that overwhelmingly the pitchers are not getting wins and losses that correspond with the date numerology. It's happening in some games, but it's not happening in a majority. At best, it's 50-50. So we can't use that as a reliable stat. In the postseason, it's money in the bank. In the regular season, this regular season, it hasn't been. We're going to have to keep looking at it to see if it does get consistent. The Reds had a chance to beat the Padres again. The pitcher, Castillo. The Reds were the favorite in this game. Pitcher had that 37, but he also had the 28 connection. So we looked at this a few days ago and said, could the Reds win 3 straight against the Padres? And they did it. They did it. Mariners also beat the Angels. I thought Cahill, he'd get his 82nd win. Seattle 82. So I got to throw out the the pitcher win-losses. It seems to be just mostly in the gematria. The name gematria of the pitchers when you get the overlap, the team and city names. That's been the most consistent thing. The gematria over the records. What's up, caller?
Hey, man. I've been doing some research on the PGA Tour since we're looking at Tiger Woods, maybe even trying to get a Grand Slam on top of winning the Masters already.
Right.
And you, funny enough, you called me you called me the golf expert just yesterday, and I don't know about all that, but I do like the riddle for a Grand Slam. And I don't know if you've seen the news story about the Tiger just yesterday in the media, but
yeah, Tiger mauled somebody in Topeka, Kansas, and there was also a story this week about a bobcat mauling a golfer in Connecticut.
Okay, all right. Well, let's start there. Let's get right into it. So
hold on. Let me do this first basketball game, and then can you call me back just because this one starts soon for people who don't know?
Right on. Okay, I'll try to stick around till after the first basketball game.
Yeah, this isn't going to take long, so just give me like 5 minutes.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, man. Yeah, I just want to make sure people know about this first basketball game today, which we talked about in the last game. But again, we're expecting the Celtics to split in Indiana because that will make them 52-34 for the season. So that would mean Indiana is favored today. If the Pacers lose today, right now they're at 52 wins. They'll get their 34th loss. And the only thing I could say against that is if they swept today, they'd stay at 33 losses in Indiana. Indiana's also 137, the 33rd prime. I don't like to use the gematria of days of the week, but Sunday's also 33. There's reason to believe the series would go 3-1 and back to Boston, however, because Boston has that gematria of 31. And I'm thinking, the Pacers are a better team than this. They got to at least put one win up on the board. I've been liking that 52-34 thing since the games were still in Boston. We picked Boston to win the first two and split in Indiana early in this decode. But real quick, let's just go over all the variables here. So today's date numerology, 64-37. Remember, the Pacers can stay at 37 losses for the season. That's where they are right now. 34 in the regular season, plus 3 in the playoffs. So they're at 37 losses. They could stay at 37 today. Pacers equals 37. And for NBA series records, there's nothing screaming out about the overall win-losses for Boston. They're at 369 right now. And Indiana's at 115 and 121. In terms of the head-to-head, pull this up here. Indiana Pacers, series records. Boston Celtics. So it's very interesting that the Pacers are 114 losses right now. Indiana Pacers equals 114. In the playoffs, they're 12-16. None of these numbers are clear with the date. At home, 58-42. So the clearest variable we have is that the 52-34 thing, being 52-34 in Indiana. The only thing I could say about the Pacers if they got swept is they would stay at 48 wins on the season, and Boston Celtics equals 48. But being 52-34 in Indiana, that just makes too much sense to me. And I believe that is where the riddle's at. So Pacers staying at 37 losses on the 37 date, taking it back to Boston. And you know what? Let's look at the date of the next game that they play. That's right. The next game's on the 24th, which is the 114th day of the year. The Pacers could get closed out on the 114th day of the year. Kind of like how we just saw the Winnipeg Jets get closed out on the 110th day of the year. Winnipeg Jets 110. We're anticipating that the San Jose Sharks will get closed out today on the 111th day of the year. So, I'm imagining that they extend it to one more game back in Boston. And this date will have, let me think about this, 8, 10, 22 date numerology. So Boston's 22. So Boston can advance on a 22 date in Boston. And it also has 28, 40 date numerology and 67. So 22, 40, 67, the big numbers that day. But yeah, I'm thinking Indiana with their back against the ropes. Boston being 52 and 34 in Indiana. That was the initial thought. So I'm going to stick with that. That's our early game for the NBA. So I do favor the Pacers to win this one. Again, the only risk that I see you running is if the Pacers get swept, they stay at 48, Boston Celtics 48, and the Celtics stay at 33 losses, where Indiana is 137, the 33rd prime, but to me, closing them out on that 114th day of the year, making a bit more sense. So, for the man who just called in with the Tiger Woods information, please call back. I'm ready for your call. We'll get into these MLB games, and then we'll come back and we'll tackle. Well, we'll do the early MLB games, and then we'll come back and tackle the playoffs, and then do the rest of the baseball. But playoffs have been a lot better than baseball, so here we go. Hey, caller.
All right, cool. Thanks for letting me call back so soon. Sweet. All right, so what was just before I say any of my stuff, what was the Bobcat one that you seen?
It was, I think it was from Monday. I think it was the day after Tiger won. It was earlier in the week. A Bobcat in Connecticut attacked a golfer on the course.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. Yo, by the way, did you see, just in relation to stuff that actually happened on the course, did you see a guy on the 14th hole, like, almost tripped Tiger Woods? That was hilarious.
I missed that, but that is funny. Okay, because golf's 14. He was 43, the 14th prime.
Right. He literally, like, went to go, I guess they said he was doing his job and, like, tried to block everybody off, and it was raining that day, and he slipped right into Tiger Woods' ankle. Just look up, like, security guards, like, hits Tiger Woods' ankle. You'll probably find it, but, yeah, it was ridiculous. I was like, on the 14th hole, and that's when I had all that money riding on it, so I was like, let's go. That's, like, perfect. That's just more confirmation. So I'm just looking, once again, for more confirmation this PGA championship, and here's what I got so far. So, I just sent a bunch of stuff to people. If you remember, what they thought was Tiger Woods' injury in a car accident was actually the facial lacerations given by his wife, Ellen Nordegren or whatever. Well, it's funny they used lacerations in that story because, of course, later on, this was probably pre-planned to use this story. A zookeeper suffered lacerations and punctures in a tiger attack at the zoo. And it's in Topeka or Topeka. Yo, that's a near anagram for Kopka, the guy that won the PGA's tour last year.
Right. And that was part of the riddle with Tiger last year. That's why I had both of those guys doing well together in the Masters this year.
Right, yeah, because you said if he doesn't get it above Tiger, he would be placing next to him, right?
Right. They were the two guys that I wrote about last year because they were a riddle together. And it was a deep riddle. But also, Kansas equals 43. The story came on a date with 43 numerology, and Tiger's 43 right now. Also, 43 is the 14th prime, golf's 14. And just for people who don't know, the PGA Championship, part of the course name is Black, and it's the PGA Championship, and they moved it. It's going to start exactly 137 days after Tiger's birthday, and champion equals 137. So those are the things I'm really looking at.
Wow, this is what I call in for, man. See, I didn't know that about Kansas equaling 43 and everything, but I do have I have some other like random things I'll just throw out there real quick. Tiger Woods and 86 has overlaps in full reduction, single reduction, reverse single reduction, and reverse single reduction EP, the exception.
Tiger Woods and what? Tiger Woods and what?
86. And the reason I'll tell you why 86 matters is because I'll read this little part of the article. It says, after much consternation in the first few months of 2019 over slow play leading to fields not finishing, there is nothing to worry about at this year's Masters. That's because the participants, all 86 of them, this is about this year's Masters, will get their rounds in well before the sun sets in what could be the smallest Masters field since 85 other mortals teed it up alongside the 86th Tiger Woods in 1997.
$85,000 bet too.
Yeah, so he was the 86th to top those mere mortals or whatever they said, and 86 has overlap 54, 63, 54, 72, and all these different ciphers. So I was like, remember that 86 before Masters? Lacerations and punctures, 86, a sepultary. Yeah, and then punctures just by itself, 137, 106. Won the last Masters on the 106th day of his age. Black equals 106, as you found out. I love it, man. Like, when you found out black equals 106, as much as you mastered this knowledge, you're like, whoa, I never noticed that before. So, prophecy, 106. I was like, this is great, more money, keep building it. So I'll read what you just said. From his birthday, December 30th, 2018 to May 16th, when this Master starts, they moved it probably purposely, is 137 days. And then USPGA equals 137 in reverse Francis Bacon, all caps. Day of the year, it's the 137th day of the year, too. So this looks like a lock, dude. Another lock. Oh, and here's the grand finale. I looked up where Kenny Griffith Jr. ranks in Grand Slams since we're following that riddle.
Oh, good thought.
He ranks 15 Grand Slams, 47, the 15th prime. Kenny Griffith Jr., 47.
Well, and Seattle's on the 47th parallel, too. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and that he ranks like 13th. I don't know how they do that, but then Tiger finished with 13 under. So it's just weird because some people have the same amount of home runs, so I don't know how they say he ranks 13th. But right next to his name, after 15 Grand Slams, it says that he's the 13th rank, like Tiger finished -13. But yeah, so I think that might be it. I'm gonna have to think for a little bit longer. But what do you think of all that? You think it's another lock?
I think Tiger looks really good for the PGA Championship, especially because it's 137 days after his birthday and champion equals 137. You must have missed the decode we did this week where we looked at how he lines up with each major. I'm going to put out a separate video on it, but he looks really good this year. So somebody said if you go to betonline.com, if you use that site, right now Tiger's 100-1 to win the Grand Slam. So $10 pays $1,000, but they're only taking bets up to $50. So you could only make a max bet of $50.
I'll just make like $50 bets.
So
no, I won't go that crazy, but yeah, it's definitely looking phenomenal for what it is, and it's actually amazing that it's lacerations that he had, and then lacerations and punctures in this Tiger attack, and then that anagram, like they really do this shit in front of our faces, like an anagram, Topeka, Kansas, and the guy's name's Kopka. Come on, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Unreal. And yeah, I'm sure you'll get to the other stuff. I just want to commend you and thank you so much for not only doing sports decodes, but people got to realize all the regular, just amazing things you do. Oh my God, how could I forget? There's all these overlaps. 420 when that news story released, and 519 when the PGA Championship ends, has overlap in every single date numerology besides day of the year and date left in the year. But people don't realize compressions sometimes too. When you even compress the numbers that don't overlap, 18, I'll just say, like, every time I say the first thing, it'll be April 20th, and the second thing, May 19th. So 18, 27, 16, 25, 45, 54. That all compresses 9, 9, 7, 7, 9, 9. So all of them, even compressed, are perfect overlaps. So,
Yeah.
And then one last thing, 2019 Tiger Woods PGA Championship equals 302, and Tiger equals 32. So there it is, man.
All right, appreciate it, man. Good work.
Golf expert out.
All right,
Later,
thanks. Appreciate it. All right, so yeah, Tiger is looking like a good play this year, and you don't even have to bet a lot to win a lot. So, let's do these early baseball games. We talked about the possibility of the Royals and Yankees splitting these two games because Yankees equals 37. Royals could be 3-7 away today, and New York could be 7-8 at home. New York equals 78. Let's look at the pitchers who are going today. And again, playoffs are better bets right now. We're doing very well in the playoffs. We're doing very mediocre in baseball. Unless we get an awesome read. Like yesterday, that Rangers-Astros read was awesome with George Herbert Walker-Busch, and that was a great payout. So I hope you guys took advantage of that. But riddles like that don't come every day. So just seeing this guy's Gematria. The Gematria has been a lot more important than the win and loss records. That's for sure. So Paxton's got the 27. So he's coming in and facing them 2-7. Again, Royals 27, MLB 27, baseball 27. Big numbers there. I think Bronx Bombers is 147, Yankees nickname. But today I'm just seeing the Yankees 37, New York 78. Right there, Yankees, New York. Let's see who these teams play next. Yankees got the Angels next on the road. So the records are current. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, Zach? So you're on the Royals game. So the line opened huge favor for the Yankees, like minus 250. So it dropped all the way down overnight. So that's one. Two, sometimes, the storylines, Judge just got hurt last night. So right. I don't believe he's playing. Something about an oblique or whatever. So, and then Paxton's coming off of Boston. And then you're doing the numbers here. I think it just, so far anyway, it really lines up pretty well for the Royals to pull an upset tonight. Well, today.
Okay, appreciate that. Good analysis.
Then also, I don't know if I'm going to be on for the NBA here, but Portland, I brought this up last time. They've got an 8-game losing streak in OKC. So just for something to keep in mind.
Today has the 19-date numerology, the 8th prime, so perhaps it ends at 8.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I didn't even know that. Yeah, perhaps, yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
And yesterday, even with the Texas Ranger game, you pointed out with the Bush riddle, and then I pointed out also the reverse run line there. It just didn't make any sense, so it just coincided with what you thought probably would happen with the game. Telling these lines, I don't know, they add up sometimes.
And I love that they won 9-4 because it was all about George H.W. Bush dying at age 94. So.
Crazy, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention there.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, Zach.
Okay, so again, you guys got to be cautious on baseball. We're still doing this and putting in the time because we're trying to it's a long season. We want to get it right and take advantage of it. It's been shaky ground this past week. Started off good with baseball. The first week was good. The riddles were good, but it hasn't been good this last week. It's been I don't know. We're probably 50-50 at best, so. But we've seen some money in the bank riddles like the Rangers over the Astros last night. That was a good one. So Yankees 37, New York 78. I don't even know if I want to look at the pitchers' records because I should, but God, it's like things keep lining up with the pitcher records and they don't come through. Well, see, okay, so that worries me right there. I see this guy's 3-8, right? New York 39, right? That's the strong New York number, 39. New York is also 48, but 39 is the stronger number, so he could fall to 3-9. But again, the records have not been coming through. Paxton's at 43 wins, 28 losses. Today has the lesser date numerology of 44. Okay, I'm just going to move on quick. I'm just going to say, look, we got riddles going both ways. I kind of do think the Royals can sneak out the upset here, but I'm flagging these things away. Okay, Royals have the Gematria riddle to win, right? The pitchers, though, suggest maybe this could go the other way. So just based on how shaky things are, I can't advise to bet on this game. Let's just wait and see. We're going to keep looking at this until finally the light bulb goes off and say, okay, this is what's going on here. So Twins and Orioles. Twins did get the sweep yesterday. They got to 6-3 on the 63 day, and they look like the team that we're going to sweep because they had the riddle for the first game. So let's see here. Hold on. I should have done one more thing before I moved on, though. I was going to look at, see if Angels had any relationship with what could be the Yankees record. Their away record. They're 3-3 away. Yeah, that's not going to help. Whoops, I spelled Los Angeles wrong. Royal schedule. And also, I should say that we've been looking at how a record might be lining up with the next series, and it's been hit or miss too. In some cases, it's been right on. In other places, it's been misleading. So, Royals and Devil Rays, and that game was in Tampa. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to help either. Okay, Twins and Orioles. I feel like Kyle Gibson's pitching every day. This guy getting 2 days rest. Is he really going to? I guess it's because they had the doubleheader yesterday. Kyle Gibson. Let's see. 11-7. Got the Gibson. I don't see it there. Dylan Bundy. Swear to God, this guy just pitched too. Windows open. Dylan Bundy, 148. So notice Dylan Bundy's on the mound, 148, and his team is 8-14. Again, reading it in reverse. Okay. Let's scan through these early morning baseball games, then we'll hit the playoffs here. Kyle Gibson, 54-61. Minneapolis is 55. He doesn't have to get that today. Dylan Bundy. $31-33 Sunday. Twins has the connection to 31 and 32. So he could stay at 31 or pick up his 32nd win. Twin schedule. Got the Astros next. They could go on a 3-game winning streak. They could get to 14-7 like Houston Astros, but that doesn't seem very likely with 2 games in Houston. They are 5-4 away like baseball. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a great clue. Astros, Houston, Astros. Okay. And the Orioles, White Sox. Okay, Chicago White Sox. Now, remember the Detroit Tigers have that 119 connection. Detroit Tigers 119. And notice if the White Sox won today, they'd be 9-11, like 119 in reverse, and the Tigers would be 9-11, like 119 in reverse as well. So that is interesting. Detroit Tigers, or whoops, that's not what I want to do. Tigers. Detroit. White Sox. White Sox record. They'd only be 6-5. So pitchers. Lopez. And him and White Sox have that connection to 57. They'd have to lose 2 in a row to get to 5-7. Lopez 61. Daniel Morris. 66. Can't get to that. Morris. Let me look at who's pitching tomorrow. Danny Bourne. Seen a lot of this 57 come up. Do they play each other tomorrow, or are they on to a new series? Probably a new series. A new series. I am seeing a lot of 57 come up. Just makes me wonder if they could drop 2 in a row. And this guy. He's not going to face them, though, tomorrow. Well, the 11-9 thing in reverse is possible, but I just saw so many 57s come up that it just makes me think, if they lose 2 in a row, they'll be 5-7. And White Sox was 57 as well as 66. So makes me gun shy on the 11-9 riddle. Again, I mean, it's there. We see it, but a lot of teams, we see the perfect riddle and then it doesn't go there. So can't go there with any confidence. Marlins got it done against the Nationals yesterday. It was in the numbers. Let's see here. Steven Strasburg's got the 53 connection. I don't see that with the record. Nationals. What I could say about Strasburg is Strasburg equals 53, the 16th prime. He could give the Marlins their 16th loss. We saw Strasburg pick up his 53rd career loss on the 16th. So that's something to consider. We saw a 53-16 riddle with him. Trevor Richards. His name's 11-9. If that makes it tough because if the Nationals lost, they'd be 11-9 in reverse. Richards is also 53, the 16th prime. Again, we're just going to observe. So prime numbers have been good with the pitchers. It's like the other day, the Tigers had a lot of riddles, but the one riddle was the White Sox pitcher getting his 29th win on the 109th day of the year. 109 is the 29th prime, and that was the one thing that prevailed, despite the Tigers having all the riddles. So I'm just going to see today, does Strasburg give them the 16th loss? Because we know he has the 53 connection. We just saw that riddle on the 16th of the month with him. Both pitchers have the 53 connection. But we saw that Trevor Richards was also 119. Nationals could be 11-9 in reverse. So I'm trying to key in on the thing that's right now that I know. The one thing I know for sure right now is pitchers' win-loss records and date numerology. It's been a crapshoot, so that's not reliable so far. Gematria overlap, when you get like two pitchers and a team name, that's probably been the best thing we can get. Haven't seen that this morning. So doing this work right now for the observation. After this Giants game, we'll do the playoffs, and then we'll come back and do the rest of baseball. But remember, Boston and Red Sox 85. You got David Price, the old Rays pitcher, going against them this morning. But we'll come back to that game. Yeah. Time's better spent on the NBA and NHL playoffs. Okay, Giants, Pirates. Oh, man, I just know that the Bay Area loves that number 49. Thinking about that. They put the Pirates at 6-2, the major league number. Eric Rodriguez. Are 6-2. He's got 88 Gematria like Pirates. Chris Archer. Chris Archer's 88 like Pirates too. So both pitchers got the Pirates connection. Let's see, Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates. Don't see it. Giants. San Francisco. Okay. In the I think I got to go back and look this up real quick just for our information purposes. I think one of the pitchers was going for their 76th career. It wasn't him. I just remember this from yesterday. We got to look this up. Holland. So, or maybe he came in 76. No. Okay, so actually yesterday, this was the one thing we were watching yesterday was, could this guy get his 76th loss? And he did. And the reason why is because Pittsburgh and San Francisco are both 76. So that was actually something we were looking at yesterday. He got the 76th loss. So that's something. Both teams had the 76 connection. He did get the 76th loss in that game. So we can look for that if there's an overlap with a team and the pitcher's going for that loss number, that's probably a good sign. All right. So anyway, just wanted to scan these early baseball games. I didn't see anything that blew my mind. It made me want to put the chips on the table. So let's do the playoffs real quick, and then we'll come back and look at the rest of these baseball games and see if we can find a web gem here. So first NBA game's about to get underway. Again, what I said at the beginning of this series was I expected Boston to win the first two in Boston and split in Indiana. They're up 3-0. That means they would have to lose today to split. And again, Indiana equals 52 and 34. Celtics can have a record of 52 and 34 after finishing up the games in Indiana. I think that would put them in good shape to go back and close out the Pacers on the 114th day of the year. Indiana Pacers 114. Celtics would get their 21st away loss if they lost today. ABC's 21. Sunday is 21 as well. Not that I like to use the day of the week. But again, if the Celtics win today, Game 5 is on the 114th day of the year. Indiana Pacers 114. Their season very well could end on the 114th day of the year. If the Pacers do win today, they stay at 37 losses on the season on a 37-day. So that's where I'm at with that one. And we did look at the M cubed earlier for the other stats. There was nothing that was really screaming out about the series overall win-loss records or the home and away. I can just put that up here again. They're 91 and 114 against the Celtics right now. Maybe they stay at 114 losses and then get that 115th on the 114th day of the year. So, but the home and away, nothing was, there's just nothing that really jumps. NBA 17, their next loss is the 17th. The Celtics lead the NBA with 17 championships. Maybe pick that up in Boston. So I do like the Pacers to stay alive today. That's where I'm at with that one. I would take the 3.5 points. Anytime a team's an underdog, I always take the points. Warriors and Clippers. Warriors and Clippers. Remember, today has the 37-date numerology. Clippers can get their 37th loss of the season. Los Angeles equals 37. And if the Warriors win today, they should close it out in the next game, close it out 4-1. Oakland equals 41. Golden State equals 41. LA equals 41. So today, 37-date numerology. Los Angeles equals 37 in the most pure cipher. The Clippers staring at their 37th loss. The Warriors right now are 59 and 26 on the season, 28 away wins. There's nothing else really jiving with the date numerology. If the Clippers don't win another game, which I don't expect them to, they'll stay at 49 wins on the season. Warriors 49. I did want to make that point about the Pacers game too. If the Pacers got swept, which would be today, it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. If they got swept, they'd stay at 48 wins. Boston Celtics equals 48. But again, I'm just liking the 52 and 34 in Indiana. That was my initial thought. You know, I had a teacher when I was young say, stick with your initial thought. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so I definitely like the Warriors today. We've been talking about we kind of saw both these series from the start, the way things mapped out. But let's just look at the series record, just make sure there's not some variable we're overlooking. So the Los Angeles Clippers, they are 45 and 62 in the playoffs. They were playing yesterday; they would have been really dead. But and at home. Yeah. So there's nothing really brewing there. And the Warriors, they are 178 and 152. They would get their 179th win today. That's the 41st prime. LA 41, Golden State 41. Means the next win would be the 180th. Okay, and then let's just look at the series between them real quick. Los Angeles Clippers series records. Golden State Warrior, Golden State Warriors. Okay, so 92 and 136 all time. They could get the 137th loss today. That's the 33rd prime. Home, they're 56 and 58. Warriors equals 58 and 59. And the playoffs 5 and 5. So there's not any real strong connections there. The strongest connection is the Clippers picking up that 37th loss on the 37 date numerology. And again, Los Angeles is 37, and there's rhyme and reason to believe that they stay at 49 wins. Because Warriors is 49. Let me just look at when they play again next. They play on the 24th as well. Okay. So again, this date, the 114th day of the year. It's a date with 22 numerology. Oakland equals 22, like Boston. Both of those teams can close it out on this same day. They both close it out 4-1. There'd be some symbolism in that. And yeah. So I did see that the Clippers next win, it wasn't here. It was what was it? The Clippers next playoff win would be their 46th. It doesn't have to come this year, but Clippers does have that 46 connection. Could be there. They could save that for next season. So yeah, following the date numerology. I mean, the date numerology has been good throughout the playoffs. It's made us consistent winners. We've done really well in the playoffs overall for NBA and NHL, no doubt about it. So continue with the methods that have been feeding us. All right, so I got the Pacers hanging on to keep the series alive today. I got the Clippers going down with their 37th season loss on the 37 date. Los Angeles 37. And Raptors and Magic. Okay. So the Raptors covered last time. The Raptors covered last time. Or not the Magic covered against the Raptors last time. So we got the bet correct, but the Magic had a good chance to win that game and they didn't do it. They did cover though. So right now the Magic are 43 and 42 on the season. Florida's 43, Orlando's 34, the reflection. They're still looking for that 26th home win. They could pick up their 18th home loss today. We don't have the date numerology lining up with, or hold on, let me think about something. I guess the Magic could technically get their 44th win of the season. Today has the lesser date numerology of 44. I'm not crazy about the lesser date numerology, but I have seen it actually working out more often than not in the playoffs so far. Like, for example, yesterday had the lesser date numerology of 43, and the Nets became 43 and 43 in the playoffs yesterday. That's one recent example. So Magic have a shot at their 44th win on the lesser 44 date. Raptors are at 60 and 25. All right, let's look here. Let's look again at the series records. Orlando Magic, all games. 58 and 68. I think Orlando Magic is 68. Yeah, it is. So is basketball. Orlando Magic, 68. What was it? They're 58 and 68 right now? Is that what I just saw? So they're 58 and 68. Orlando Magic's 58 and 68. And our 2 reduction pure ciphers, not using all the exceptions. And here, let me just look. I'm not used to septenary and Chaldean. We're just looking at those in recent days to see if they help us out with anything. Magic. Toronto. That last date was the Super 26 date, and Toronto did take the game with they had the connection in the septenary cipher. Raptors. Raptors is also 44. So the Magic could get their 44th win of the season over the Raptors on the lesser 44 date. So I'd say the Magic have a chance. It looked like the last game they played to lose. I haven't watched the Magic play all year, but the last game was the first game I saw any of their play. I mean, they were playing like a bunch of losers, except for the guy from Jefferson High School. Jefferson High School is who puts out all the NBA players from Portland, and their high school's right next to the Blazers arena, which I love. It's like right next door to the pros. Let's see. All right, let's look at the head-to-head again. NBA teams. Orlando Magic. Hey, what's up, man?
Easter Sunday equals 44 in reduction.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, we talked about that before. We talked about that huge in the Stevie Steve shooting. You remember that a few years ago in Cleveland?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, but they're a little nervous to be betting on but yeah.
Yeah. You're saying you're nervous to bet on the Magic?
Yeah. It looked like they had something last time they lined up and it didn't come through.
Well, they did cover, though. They did cover.
True, that was 5.5. That's right.
And it's the 5.5 again today. So I was going to finish looking at the rest of these things, but I'm thinking betting the Magic to cover might be where it just seemed that the last game that they played to lose, and
sure,
because they were just playing like idiots, just like the dumbest passes ever and no spacing. I mean, I don't know if you watched the game, but it was just turnover. I was like, oh my God.
A little bit I did watch. It was obvious what was going on.
So
what a complete joke.
And despite that, the game was it looked at the end, it was looking like the Magic weren't going to cover. I think they were down 18 with about 4.5 minutes left there, but then they rallied and cut the lead. But
yeah, that's the part I saw because I'm like, well, what are they doing here?
Yeah. So
it was obvious that was just about to spread.
I'm thinking.
Hey, did you say 68 too? A team had 68.
Orlando Magic equals 58 and 68. And
Easter 68.
Easter 68 as well. Yeah, that's a good observation. And you know what else? Jesus Christ in the septenary cipher is 59. Maybe a reason to believe that they could get the 59th win today. Sri Lanka equals 59, where the bombing is this morning on Easter Sunday. And Magic's 33, like Jesus on the cross at 33, and Bible's 33. So I'm thinking Magic cover might be where it's at again. I don't know that they're going to win, but if I'm going to bet on this, I'm thinking that's where I'm going. So
sounds good, man.
All right, I'm gonna finish looking here at the series record and see if we can get one other gem up on the board. So Toronto versus the Magic all time. The Magic are 44 and 49 against Toronto. So there's a 44 that goes against them. They could stay at 44.
Sure. Okay.
And at home, they're 24 and 22. Let me see what Easter is real quick. I think there's a 23 in Easter. Yeah, Easter's 23 in the most pure cipher. Away's not going to matter. 5 and 2.
It just seems like they always do something with one of the games with these holidays,
Right.
So maybe that's the one where they.
Right. Yeah. Well, man, they very well could stay on 44 wins too, but it's always more likely to go into the number than stay on it. Let's look at when they play what game 5 would be to see if there's any rhyme and reason with how game 5. I imagine this thing would get closed out in game 5 if it went there. So they play on the 113th day of the year, April 23rd. The National Basketball Association 113. This date has 6, 9, 21 date numerology, 27, 39. Oh, yeah, this is the 66, 39, 21 date. This is the date that the Nets should fall to 39 and 66 at Philadelphia and get closed out. 39, 21, 66. I'm not sure that those numbers go with this series, though. I'm not seeing how that lines up for the Raptors or Magic. So there's no indicator there that they would play. Well, I guess I guess that they are gonna play on that day no matter what. But there's no.
Oh, I just saw something, dude.
What's that?
Sweep equals 68 and 23.
But they can't sweep them today. They can't because it's 2-1.
Oh, that's right. What the hell am I thinking? I'm thinking of a 3-game series.
Yeah,
that's right.
Best of 7 now,
yeah,
but
so it doesn't match up otherwise, man.
Yeah, if anybody was going, that's something big for baseball, though. If there's any series that can be a sweep in baseball today, because a lot should wrap up, that's probably a good sign. So baseball, for you baseball people, if you're paying attention, any series that can be a sweep today, I think that that's very possible.
Yeah, we got the 19 date numerology too. 67's the 19th prime. Sweep equals 67 also.
Yeah, so today could be sweep day in baseball. So I think that's the thing to look for in baseball. Any series that can be a sweep. I'd take a shot at that.
All right, well, hey, I'm going to get off here, man. I just wanted to point that out about the Easter Sunday, but you already were aware of it.
Well, great observation. And now we come to the sweep realization. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go look at that now, man, while I'm listening.
All right, good work. All right.
Take care, brother.
Yeah,
bye.
You too. Thanks. Yeah, sweeps in baseball. Any series that concludes today going for a sweep with because sweep does overline. Here, I'll just put up here in just the 4-base cipher so you can see. Easter sweep. And we just saw the 2 hockey teams get swept on the 23-date numerology just this past week. This is our most pure of the 4-base ciphers. But it's just like how the Warriors swept the Cavs on June 8th last year in the NBA, 6-8. Basketball, 68, sweep, 68. So the fact that Easter and sweep have this 68-23 overlap, baseball sweeps today. Very possible. I think that's absolutely something to look for. But this Magic Raptors game, I got to say it's pretty iffy. It's pretty iffy. The Raptor, I didn't see anything for Game 5 for why that would be the closeout day. So let's also just real quick look at what Game 6 might be. Game 6 is the 27th, the 117th day of the year. I feel like Toronto equals 117. It does. Toronto is 117. Let me just make sure there's not a Toronto Raptors 117 connection as well. So maybe this is the day that Toronto advances. Because notice, or wait a minute. Hold on. Did I get too many days ahead here? Hold on. All right, so Sunday, this is Game 4. Game 5 is April 23rd. All right, this would be Game 5. I didn't see what was going on here with Game 5. I didn't see anything in the numbers that lined up with the date numerology. They're not all going to line up. So Game 6 must be right here back in Orlando. If it was Game 6, the Magic would probably be down 3-2, striving to make it 3-3. Magic's 33. And 6-11. Day has 23 numerology, 41 numerology, 68 numerology. Wait a minute, am I doing that right? Yeah, that's right. Orlando Magic 68. So maybe Magic could keep it alive right here. That would make them, if they were 3-3, they'd be 45 and 43. possible this goes 7 games. It's possible. Because I'm just thinking about the way the last game was played and how the Raptors ended up barely winning. The Magic played like awful the whole game, and the one African dude for the Raptors had a career season best. He was pretty much unstoppable. So, I just don't see the reason to close out in Game 5. I mean, it could be there. Not every series lines up perfectly with the numbers. I'll let you make a judgment call on this one, but again, we saw that the Magic could get their 44th win of the season on this lesser 44 date numerology, which seems to be playing a little bit in the playoffs. And I didn't see a strong clue to close out the series in Game 5, but Game 7 would make a lot. If this did make it to 7 games, and that would kind of feed into the narrative of the Raptors not getting past a team like the Celtics, because maybe they get, tired in the first round. They play a 7-game series. The Celtics cruise through their series. So, because this Magic team's like a wild card team. You just don't know what squad's going to show up. Is it the last game where they don't even know how to pass the ball? They just turn it over more often than they even shoot it at the basket? Or, are they going to come out and drain 3 balls all night? So, I'll let you make your call on this one. It's not a strong read either way, but if I was going to bet it, I would definitely take Orlando to cover. That's what I'll say for that game. I would take Orlando to cover if I bet. I feel better about these games because we have date numerology to go with. Clippers picking up the 37th loss on the 37 date in Los Angeles. We know why it would make sense for the Warriors to close out the Clippers 4-1. Celtics and Pacers. I just want to make sure there's not some 42 thing with the Pacers real quick. I don't think there is. They have 64 date numerology and 37 date. Pacers can stay at 37. So I see why the Pacers can keep it alive today. And again, Boston would be 52-34 in Indiana. So I'm sticking with that. Indiana Pacers. So I feel better about these first 2 games. Pacers getting it done. Warriors getting it done. Again, I'm doing Magic Raptors. I'm taking Magic to cover. The Blazers have lost 8 straight in Oklahoma City. Today has the 19 date numerology. Whoops, where'd it go? That's the 8th prime number. Let's look at the Blazers Thunder head-to-head. Let's just count it out here. It's not going to show the 1 playoff game, so they just lost 1 in Oklahoma City. They lost both in the regular season, so that's 3 straight there. Wait a minute. I don't think they've lost 8 straight there. We had somebody call in and say they lost 8 straight there. It doesn't look like it. The Blazers swept them last year. So they'd lost 3 straight there. So if you're out there, man, I hope you still are. That information is not true. They have not lost 8 straight at Oklahoma City. Okay, but let's look at the series record. NBA teams, Portland Trail Blazers. The guy who called in and said that, he doesn't give out bad information. Oh, he's calling back right now. So if he did, it was by accident. Hey, what's up, man?
8 straight playoff road games.
Oh, 8 straight playoff road games.
Yes.
Okay.
Check me though on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay, let me see if I can pull up a game preview. All right.
Okay. There was damn man, I wish I had the article link. There's an article link that put me on it. And then I verified it, which is true.
Okay. Well, I believe you then. Okay, I didn't catch the playoff part, so.
Yeah, my bad. I should have clarified.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, Zach.
Okay, so let's verify that this is true. Blazers lost 8 straight. He does give out good information, though, is what I was saying. Blazers lost 8 straight road playoff games. Spurs, Thunder. Let's see if we can just pull it up. Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City just won on the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. That's what we were watching. The thing about today's date with Portland is Portland equals 37. It has 37 date numerology. This is an older article. This might be from this regular season. Oh, this is older. Okay. Oh, I think I know a way to verify this, actually. I think I know a way to verify this. There we go. All right. So in the playoffs, and remember, the Blazers are now 10-9 against Oklahoma City. They just last played on the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing on the 109th day of the year. So, I mean, there was a riddle there for Oklahoma City. The one thing we were concerned about is if the Blazers won, they'd have a chance to sweep Oklahoma City today on the date with 37 numerology. And Portland's 37. Oklahoma City, right now they're at 35 losses, so the next is the 36. They can't pick up the 37th today. Shoot, I thought this was going to show the so then this losing streak on the road, it has to be back when they were the Sonics. Caller?
Hey, Zach, how are you?
Doing well. What's up?
Are you on the air?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, I just a side note. I'm the rambler. I don't want to ramble today, but check this out. I've been starting to, apply your techniques. For those of you that are listening, buy the book, get into this. This is the only thing that matters. All the other people are just lost that are thinking they're truthers. Listen to this. Now, you always say to go to the quote marks. I went to quote marks that said it was a river of blood. That's 214. The other day, 107 was coming up and stuff, like from Russell Wilson's contract to, I think, the church stuff. 107 times 2 is 214. Valentine's Day is 214. These are just things I'm starting to pick up because of you. And that's how you start to, I've kind of made the shift now. I'm starting to see it, not just listen to you.
Well, there you go, man. Just as simple as using the notes. Hey, brother, I'll call you back because I have to finish what I'm doing right now because it's the live sports decode for the playoffs and games that are about to get underway. But
I'm sorry.
No, it's all
confused. I was freaked out because of this bombing and all the. It's just getting so clear. Thanks a lot, Zach.
You're welcome, man. You take care. Thank you. All right. So this losing streak has to go back to the days of Seattle. I'm just looking at things like this. 1983. I guess they did a best of 3 game series back then. That's the year I was born. Hey, what's up, man?
So this is what I did to verify that article. I put Portland Trailblazers 2017, 2018 playoff record. It took me to, I think it was Wikipedia. And I know sometimes it's not the most accurate, but I verified a different way. But anyway, so I kind of went backwards with it to count their playoff road record, and it checked out as well. So that's how I did it. It's just overall playoff road record.
So I'm looking at this. It doesn't look like it's possible against this franchise. I'm thinking they're probably on an 8-game road losing streak in the playoffs, period.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes, period.
Period.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Because that makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And that's how I verified. I just went backwards in season, but I had to type it all in to make sure of it.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, thanks. Okay, so thoughts about that. The word end has Gematria 14, and we see streaks end a lot at 14. End also has Gematria of 23, like sweep. And again, we're on Easter. Because the losing streak's at 8 games, I just wonder if it could end here. It's 19 date numerology, the 8th prime. You got Portland in the numbers, Portland 37. So, all right, let's think about it. Portland, is this the right day? Am I on the day in the future? How come it's not showing? It doesn't say the lead, but Portland does lead 2-1. They started 2-0. They lost the first game in Oklahoma City. So Portland's 55-30, and that means they're 21-21 away. The Thunder are 50-35. They're 28-14 at home. We have nothing there that goes with the date. There's no date numerology connection with any of that. The other thing about 44 being the lesser date numerology, Portland's also 44 and Rip City. So is Seattle. Oklahoma City used to be the Seattle franchise. Seattle's also 19. We're going to have to look here at these series records again. So Portland, oh, look at that. Portland could get its 111th playoff win today on the 111th day of the year. That's interesting. They're 110 and 140. That would end their streak of losing on the road. Oklahoma City, 161 and 161. That's like 5, the golden ratio. All right, let's see. NBA teams. Oklahoma City. Series records. Portland Trail Blazers. 129 and 126. If Oklahoma City didn't win another game against Portland for this series, they'd finish at 126, which is interesting because Portland Trail Blazers is 126. If the Blazers could close them out and win the next two, they'd keep them right there. Doesn't always work out that way, but it's just a thought. 86 and 40 at home. Their next away loss is 44. Keep that in mind because Portland and Rip City is 44. If they lost today, they'd be 9 and 11. Today, April 21st, is the reflection date of September 11th. Today's the 111th day of the year. September 11th leaves 111 days left in the year. Little abstract, but just a thought. Let's look at the date numerology of the next game. Could get our clue there. So they play on the 113th day of the year back in Portland. Portland's at 34 home wins right now, so the next one's 35. Hey, what's up?
Zach, so I wanted to bring your attention to one more thing. I said this before when Portland was up 2-0. The line is crazy. This has been the most wackiest thing I've ever seen. I think you've alluded to this with regards to the dates not matching up in the wins. So when Portland was up 2-0, they were only minus 210. Now for the playoff series, I believe they were the same exact number or minus 250. Right now, it's only minus 125 and it's plus 105. It's just not making sense. So normally, well, I don't know. I would say maybe six or 7 out of 10 times, the 8-game losing streak does come to an end. But this is going to be a very tricky game, I think. So I don't know. Maybe there needs to be a little bit more digging on the Thunder. It just doesn't make sense to me. The lines are crazy, Zach. I've never seen this before. And I've been doing this, quite some time. I've never seen this.
Hey, did you put down the big bet yesterday on Denver?
That was me. Yeah.
Oh well, I would just sit on those winnings today and leave this game alone. So.
Yeah. But I'm reading some of the comments in the chat here, and I just don't want anyone to. Everyone's responsible for their own, but I just don't want anyone to, because it's 8 games, to necessarily jump on that fact. We've seen it go the other way, and the series has been crazy. So I'm just saying. Right.
Yeah. So I'm checking out the next game to see if anything lines up with what the win-loss records could be in the date numerology in the next one.
That's a good idea. Yeah. It's been crazy. But anyway, so I just want to throw that out there. That's all.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, Zach. You got it.
Let's see. All right. So Trailblazers. Okay. So the next game's on the 113th day of the year. And the date numerology for this game is 21. And it's this is the 21-39-66 day. Lesser numerology of 46. 21-39-66. So that date, it doesn't look like it's going to go with Doesn't look like it's going to go with anything. So not a great clue there. Oh, wait a minute. The only 21 that I see is the Thunder are currently at 21 away losses because they lost 2 in Portland. So if it went back to Portland, Thunder would have a chance to stay at 21 away losses in that game. And that game is on the 23rd. They'd have a chance at their 23rd away win in that game. So that could be a sign that the series gets extended. Maybe Portland couldn't. That's a sign that either the Thunder could take the lead or they could keep their series alive and send it back to Oklahoma City. Portland won today. April 25th, the 115th day of the year. So this date is 23, 41, and 67. That's the date numerology here. I say 6, 11, 23, 41, 67. 23, 41, 67. Now I saw 41 up here somewhere. Portland. So that's at home. So they could get their 41st home loss. The Thunder could get their 41st home loss on that date. If it made it there, because that game's back in Oklahoma City on a 41 day. If the Thunder won today and evened it at 2-2, it's possible the Thunder could tie it. Oh man, it could be a really interesting series. Could go to 3 because is that game 6 that I was just looking at? Yeah, it's game 6. So I just see that there's the 41 date numerology that day, and that's the day they could get their 41st home loss. The other thing, though, that's on my mind is if Portland just wins the next 2 and closes it out, they keep them at 126 wins as the Portland Trailblazers number. So, let me just see what Game 7 is just for kicks. 117th day of the year. Trailblazers don't have a connection to that number, do they? Oh. Thunder. Oklahoma City. Hey, what's up?
Zach, I'm going to give you my lean. I don't know if the numbers match up. This is my lean. I think OKC tonight, OKC game 5, Portland game 6, and then I'm unsure about game 7, but I would lean towards Portland beating them in game 7. And I'm just going to rely on, I think that the lines are just telling me this is the way it's going to go. So if you're Gematria,
well, that's what the date numerology just showed too. That
okay,
because Thunder could stay on 21 away losses in Game 5 back in Portland, and then Game 6 they could pick up their 41st home loss on a 41 date numerology against Portland. And I haven't finished thinking about Game 7 yet. That's when you called.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, got it. Okay. Got it.
So, yeah, but what you just said is confirming kind of what I'm looking at, what it very well could be. So,
yeah, I just again like you're so amazing at the Gematria, and I've been working with the lines here, and I think that's what the lines are telling. And if it matches up with the research here, then I think we have it. That's my opinion. That's what
so Game 7 has a life lesson number of 43, and somebody would obviously win the series 4-3 that day. But that's the reason to believe that would be a good day for a Game 7. Spurs and Nuggets, Magic and Raptors, and Thunder and Blazers are all potential Game 7s. I don't think the Nets 76ers will be there, but these other 3 series are all potential Game 7s. So,
Yeah.
All right.
And the only reason why I lean Portland is because their owner died. That's the only reason why I'm going to lean towards them.
You know what? I'm going to, right when I hang up the phone, I'm just going to measure how many days it is from Paul Allen to that Game 7. That's a good thought.
Yeah. Okay, Zach.
All right, thanks, man.
brother.
I remember Paul Allen's death was right after Pete Carroll got that most amazing alignment win. It was the biggest Seattle ritual there ever was in Seahawks history, and then Paul Allen dropped dead. I couldn't. ESPN doesn't have the line for this Portland Oklahoma City game today. I imagine Oklahoma City is the favorite. They're a 5.5-point favorite. But yeah, this one's tight. It's looking like this one could go the distance, though. If Portland does lose today, I think we have it mapped out right. I think we have it mapped out right with Portland getting that win in Oklahoma City in Game 6, because again, the Thunder can get their 41st loss at home against the Blazers on a 41 date. So. As I say that, remember, though, the first 2 games of this series did not follow. This is the series that has not been following the date numerology. So this has just been a kind of an iffy series. So I'd probably cool my jets on this Thunders-Blazers game tonight. I'll let you make up your own mind on that one. But if it does get to that Game 6, I think that date numerology pattern would hit them, giving them the 41st loss. So that's off the table, obviously, if the Blazers win tonight. But that's reason to believe that maybe the Blazers don't win tonight and they have to wait until Game 6 to win in Oklahoma City. So that's what I'm saying, if I'm being clear. But again, that Game 7 date for the teams with the Game 7s, April 27th, it is very interesting that this date has a life lesson number of 43. Colorado's 43. Florida's 43. Orlando's 34, the reflection. I don't think that 43 connects to... Oh, you know what? Blazers. Blazers equals 43. Never mind. There was a number of 43 riddles with the Blazers this year. Okay. Let me see Paul Allen. I know he died in October. Just like yesterday, we had the tribute with the Rangers. Rangers beating the Astros and George Herbert Walker Bush. Man, I hope all of you guys got on that. I hope you guys got that one. October 15th, 2018 to today. That's the day leaving 77 days left in the year. It's 188 days later, 6 months and 6 days. It's a span of 27 weeks or 26 weeks and 6 days. What about that Game 7? 94. That's not really helping me out. That's not really helping me out. Could be lined up with something more down the road, though, in the playoffs if the Blazers advance. So he died on a date with 43 numerology. Okay. But yeah, I would just cool it here just because this is the game that hasn't followed the date numerology. It's kind of a wild card. The only thing that's made sense was the Thunder winning on the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. Caller?
Yes, hi, Zach. I had called you last week about the sweep, and the 2 hockey teams got the sweep.
Right.
And today I heard somebody mention that sweep and Easter are a match.
Right.
And so I was looking at all the baseball series. There's actually 7 series today that could end in a sweep. You got Marlins, Twins, Red Sox, Mariners, Pirates.
Hold on. 1 second. I appreciate you doing this. I'm just saying, where did my pencil go? Hold on. All right. So can you give me the list again? I want to write them down.
Yeah, Marlins, Twins, Red Sox, Mariners, Pirates, Reds, and Blue Jays.
Okay. It's interesting how we looked at the beginning of that Reds series and a lot lined up for them to potentially sweep. Okay, so Marlins, Twins.
Yeah, so,
let me just make sure.
Yeah, I just want to make that point. And also, what I had done was I had forgotten about the Easter thing. That was a good point that guy made. I was actually thinking about it like for the next time it hit a 23-day or a 22-day. So I went back and did some research, and back on April the 7th was also a 23-day on a Sunday, and 6 of the 7 teams completed the sweep. So I think there's definitely something there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this could be good.
Yeah.
Marlins, Twins, Red Sox, Mariners, Pirates, Reds, Blue Jays, all teams that have a chance to sweep the opponent today.
Yes. And like I said, it's not a perfect code, but it works 6 out of 7. So
Right.
if you bet like all the teams separately and then just throw a few bucks on the parlay, even if the parlay doesn't hit, it's going to be a great profit.
Right. Right. All right. Yep. Great work. Thank you so much for doing that.
All right. Thanks, Zach.
All right. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Okie dokie. Great work, you guys. All right. So NBA again. So far, there's 2 games that I think are worth a stab. Oops. I'm not in the NBA, am I? One's already gotten underway, but I think the Pacers have a good chance to defend themselves and extend the series, staying at 37 losses on the 37 date. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I'm thinking maybe if you wanted to measure the depth from Allen to Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, I don't know if that would help out. And that's one thought. The second thought is, last night during the Denver Nuggets game, they kept mentioning the number 6 a whole ton, and I didn't understand why. I thought maybe a team wins by 6. Maybe it's a hint that the series is going to end in 6. It was mentioned so many times.
So the Denver San Antonio game, they kept bringing up 6.
6 was everywhere. The announcers just kept saying 6.
Well,
I don't know.
Okay, so the San Antonio, the Spurs always have the strong Saturn symbolism. Saturn's the 6th planet. That's one thing it makes me think of. I'd have to go to the, but yeah, maybe it is a clue, Game 6. So I'd have to go take a peek.
Yeah, I don't know, just something to think of. And I think the Spurs or San Antonio Spurs equals 42. It could end 4-2. Just a thought. But I know Nuggets and Spurs also equals 3-3, but the Spurs are on 33 home wins. So I'm thinking perhaps it can end 4-2.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Okay, Zach.
All right.
Thank you.
Good work. Spurs equals 42 like Saturn as well. If it did end 4-2. Okay, so the Western Conference Finals begin May 14th. All right, let's just see real quick. Could the Blazers make it to the Western Conference Finals? That would surprise me, honestly. May 14th, that's Israel's establishment date. 211 days. Well, that's interesting. That's the 47th prime. Seattle, you had the Seahawks up on the 47th parallel. Blazers are on the 45th parallel. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's Western Conference Finals equal. All right. Well, we got time to think about that. All right. Let's so the Warriors giving the Clippers their 37th loss looks good today. 37 date numerology. Los Angeles 37. Close it out in Game 5. LA 41. Golden State 41. Oakland 41. So I do like the Warriors winning 4-1 there. Raptors Magic very iffy today. You got to make your judgment call on this one. The riddle for the Magic is getting the 44th win of the season on the lesser date numerology of 44. And there was actually something else to that riddle. Hold on. Let me just put it back up here. NBA teams. The Magic hadn't been in the playoffs, I don't think, for 7 years. The other way the 44 could go against them is if they stayed on 44 wins against the Raptors. At home, they're 24-22. We know today's Easter. Easter has the 23 connection. I don't know any connection to 25. And The Raptors became so the game that the Raptors won the last game, they had a narrative to potentially win. Remember, there was all the 26s that could have stacked for Orlando. The Raptors became 3-5 against the Magic. Raptors equals 35, and that date did have a life lesson number of 35. That's why I was saying take the spread, and Orlando did cover the spread. So, I mean, it wasn't a super shock that the Raptors won, but we still got the bet right. But that's why it's always good to take the spread, because, I mean, there was 1,026 stacking for Orlando, but it didn't come through. Yeah, we just we saw that if this went to Game 7, Game 7's on the 117th day of the year, and Toronto equals 117. Florida's also 43. It has a life lesson number of 43. So, really tough game. I would say, though, if you do bet this game, look, do what you want, honestly. If somebody put a gun to my head and said you had to bet, I'd take the Magic to cover the spread. But I might just sit out on this game, honestly, because I'm not crazy about it. So, but Magic to cover the spread's where I would be at. And Blazers and Thunder, I think this one's really iffy, but the one thing we did see is the next game in Oklahoma City is on a 41-date numerology, and the Thunder could theoretically get their 41st home loss against the Blazers. So if the Blazers won today, that riddle would be off the board. And if this series had followed the date numerology, I would pick the Thunder. But the thing is, there's already been 2 games where there was a perfect numerology alignment for a win or loss for one team, and neither game did it follow that pattern. So we've already seen it not follow the date numerology twice. I'd feel kind of foolish to assume that the date numerology is going to be true in Game 6 at this point. So we'll evaluate again if we make it to Game 6. The one thing that's going for the Blazers to believe that maybe they could close out the series, it wouldn't be today, but it would be in the next game, is it would keep the Thunder at 126 wins against the Blazers, and Portland Trailblazers equals 126. Big Oakland number. I think the Trailblazers beat the Warriors this year with 126 points earlier in the season, if I remember right. Could have been last year too, but if you put a gun to my head and said, how are you going to bet? I'd say, man, I don't want to, but okay. I'll take the Thunder, and I don't want the spread, so just give me the money line. I don't want to get beat on the spread. But again, the NBA games I'm more comfortable with is the Pacers extending the series and the Warriors closing out the Clippers. And if I just had to pick one game, I'd pick the Warriors to close out the Clippers, because they can give them that 37th loss on the 37th date in Los Angeles, and the 4-1 series just makes so much sense. Okay, NHL. We got the Maple Leafs with a chance to close it out tonight. Really like the Maple Leafs to advance in this series. They don't have to win today, but, you know, closing it out today at home. That seems like a good place to do it. Again, this is Toronto's 101st season. It'll be the 101st Stanley Cup in the 102nd year of the NHL. So let's take a peek here. NHL teams. Let's look at the series records real quick. Boston Bruins in the playoffs, 308, 318, and 7. Big numbers. Doesn't go with the date. Toronto Maple Leafs, 256. That means their next win is the 257th, which is the 55th prime. Boston, Massachusetts equals 55. That's interesting. If they did go to Game 7, it would be in Boston. They can also just do it today over the team from Boston, Massachusetts. Let's see. NHL teams. Remember how the Patriots were 5-5 in Super Bowls? They did that in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is 55. Okay, let's see. So Toronto, where are they at? Toronto series records. Boston Bruins. You know what's really interesting? There's 318 mentions of the name Jesus Christ in the New Testament. It's Easter. Caller?
Two narratives, Zach, for the Maple Leafs Boston game. The first is they do a reverse of last year. Toronto was home against Boston, if I'm not mistaken, for Game 7. Boston beats them. So if they reverse it, Toronto beats Boston in Game 7 this year in Boston. That's the first narrative. The second one is the last time in Game 5, when Toronto and Boston played, I had called in and I said I like the Maple Leafs because of the 51. The 51 is the Boston Bruins number, and I believe, most people were on Boston to beat Toronto that day, but the 51 stuck out to me. I don't know why. I think those are the two narratives. Maybe if you do your research built up on that, maybe we can come up with a conclusion for today.
Well, sure. I was about to make the point about how Boston Bruins equals 51, and they can stay at 51 wins for the season if they lose today. So
got it. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, that's all right. Appreciate it, man. All right, thanks. That's very interesting about the Game 7, though, last time, and Toronto could even the score. But there really are 318 mentions of Jesus Christ in the New Testament. That's just weird in light of the fact that it's Easter. If the Toronto wins today, they get their 193rd home win on the lesser 44 date numerology. 193 is the 44th prime, and it's 40 and 40. Let me see when Game 7 would be. Is it April? Interesting that it's April 23rd. Okay. 6, 9, 27. That's the 21/39/66 date. All right, hold on. They just played 2 days ago on the 19th, I already think. All right, so Maple Leafs won in Boston. Maple Leafs won at home. Maple Leafs won at home. Oh, no. I was like, wait a minute. I thought Boston had won one recently. So I read that backwards. All right, so they just split in Toronto. All right, and then they won in Boston. And so Toronto won the first one in Boston. So they split in Boston. They split in Toronto. And then Maple Leafs just won in Boston. So Maple Leafs are 2-1 in Boston. And 1-1 at home. Is that right? Yeah, this is Game 6. So they could become 2-1 at home on the 21st. Boston could also become 2-1 in Toronto. All right, let me look at this. Let me think about this real quick. So Toronto so far is 1-1 at home. It means they're 24-17 at home on the year. 25-13 away. The 318 thing is tripping me out. They'd stay at 339 losses. United States of America, 339. So Boston for the season. Again, Boston Bruins is 51. If they didn't win another game, they'd finish the season on 51 wins, which is somewhat symbolic. Today would be the 28th loss. We don't have that numerology. Picks Money was calling in, he'd say, "Oh, Boston's definitely winning today. They're getting 52 on Sunday on the day Prince died." Because 52 is the prophecy number. Yeah. This one's tough too. This is a tough game right here because there's no clear indicator. I don't know what the connection is to Toronto, and I mean it's Easter. That's just, it's so weird that they can get that 318, but Oh, I was just gonna see how the overseas money is on these games. Big money on Toronto for the puck line, so people got Toronto to cover. But the majority of money is on Boston overseas. Vegas, I'll be look at almost all the money's on Vegas. I'll be amazed if San Jose doesn't get closed out today. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah.
Are you doing a live stream right now?
I am.
These sports? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't able to get on, but I just wanted to do a quick. Did you do basketball already?
I did.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen it, but today is 421. That's the 82nd prime number, if I'm not mistaken, right? 421.
Oh, you might have caught something that I overlooked. Let me check it out. 421, 82nd prime. It sure is.
Yep. Okay. And I seen in basketball like two teams had that connected to it. It was Toronto. I think Toronto Raptors equal 82 or something, in Canada equal 82. And also Trailblazers or Portland Trailblazers
Yeah, I think you're right about the Blazers. I was just thinking, so the Blazers and the Raptors. You know what connects those teams is Damon Stoudemire. Damon Stoudemire from Portland played for those two teams. Trailblazers is 82, and Raptors. Let me see. Yeah, Raptors is 82. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I just remember seeing that all throughout the season. Usually, at least one of those teams, it's a good sign for at least one of them. Maybe it might not go for both, but I remember when you have little things like that and those little hidden numbers, it goes to one of those teams is a good sign for them to win. So maybe something to keep a lookout for.
Well, you saying that reminds me that the Blazers played the Timberwolves earlier this year when the Timberwolves debuted their Prince jerseys, and there was a big riddle with that. And today's the anniversary of Prince's death. So,
Did the Blazers win that game?
Oh, so the Blazers lost in the game where the Prince jerseys were debuted, but the riddle from that game carried out the rest of the season, and the Blazers won the rest of the games with Minnesota, and each time it was the Prince riddle. So,
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there is a connection between the Raptors and the Blazers through Damon Stoudemire. I don't know if you remember him, but
yeah, I remember him.
Okay, so yeah, I'll think more about that. Great observation. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem, man.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, take care. Yeah, guy called in earlier about the church thing. He saw 214 in the headline. That's another thing about today taking be written 21/4. So, man, I'm having trouble pulling the trigger on this Bruins Maple Leafs game. I didn't see anything lining up for game 6. I didn't see anything in the numbers for game 6. But man, I just don't know what it is for Bruins is 43. I guess if it did go to game 7, it could be 4-3. Boston again. Whoops, not Boston's. The Bruins don't win another one. They stay at 51 wins on the season. That's something that's on my mind. Maple Leafs, Toronto, Maple Leafs. We got 2 Toronto games going in sports today. Something tells me one of them wins and one of them loses. Could be wrong. It's not always that way, but They reported 207 people dead in the first headline in the church bombing this morning. Sometimes the world of sports are connected. I'm still trying to figure out why. There's 27 chapters in the New Testament. Maple Leafs going for that 318th win. That's so weird. Yeah, I don't know if I'm crazy about this game, though. I don't know if I'm crazy about it. Let me see what Toronto, Ontario equals, actually. Toronto, Ontario. 74 connection. When you write out 42, it's 74. About Ontario. Ontario is also 43 like Bruins if it went game 7. Okay. The Sharks Golden Knights game, what sucks is the Golden Knights don't pay anything, but we had the Sharks pegged to win the last game to go to this game today because we said today would make so much sense for the Sharks to get finished 4-2 on the 111th day of the year. San Jose Sharks, notice 42 and 111. So I'm pretty sure the Sharks are finished today. All the overseas money is on Vegas, but I don't know what it is actually in the U.S. Well, hey, in light of them being the Vegas team, the money's probably on them in Vegas too. But I have trouble imagining the Sharks getting past this game. I mean, that's a really good riddle. 4-2 on the 111th day of the year. And today also has the 64 numerology. Golden Knights, 64. They can advance on this 64 day. So Vegas Golden Knights, 82. The guy just called in and talked about how today 4/21, 421, the 82nd prime. So, yeah, I don't know if I can pull the trigger on this Bruins Maple Leafs game. 2000 was this last year? What do you count? 2018 Maple Leafs playoffs. See if I can pull this up. Bruins finish off Maple Leafs in back and forth game 7. Huh. Boston was up 3-1. Now, that didn't happen in this series this year. Boston equals 31. Boston also equals 32, so see why it went through that pattern. What day? Is there a date on this? Where's the date? I wanted to see just this must have been it, April 25th. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach? It's Rob from Vegas.
Hey, man.
Hey, I sent you I didn't put a link, but I put a note in the chat about 1965, the Canada Maple Leafs information regarding the 215 and the church bombing today. It might have some relevance because this thing with Queen Elizabeth happened in February 15th, 1965.
Oh, there was a church bombing and the Canada Maple Leafs won the...
No. Okay, there was the bombing had 215 deaths associated with it. On February 15th, which is also 215 in 1965, Canada Maple Leaf adopted their flag. Queen Elizabeth basically proclaimed that they'd have this flag at that point. I put it in the link in the chat. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me at the moment.
Okay, so this was all in 1965, but that's the year that Canada adopted the flag that was the maple leaf?
Right, but the tie-in is 215, the death toll at that church today in Sri Lanka.
Oh, it's now 215. When I first woke up this morning, they had it reported at 207, and I'm just noticing that Toronto Maple Leafs is 207.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was looking at the 207 earlier because of the line on the Boston game was originally 204, and what's that? Bankers Life Fieldhouse was like 206 or something like that. So I had Indiana with the over today.
Okay.
So just a thought.
All right. Appreciate the information.
Yep.
All right. So that's very interesting. I do have the Maple Leafs advancing this series, but there's no strong. what's going to be a trick in Game 7 as well is there's no date numerology read for Game 7 either. Hold on. What season are they in? Oh, yeah, we know they're 101. Church is 101. You know, Church is 101, and we have this church bombing today. It's just so weird to think that it could be this way, that it's synced up with the NHL and the Maple Leafs. It's the 68th playoff appearance for them. Easter 68. Again, they're going for their 318th win. And let me see something. Is that today leaves 254 days left in the year? They used to be the Toronto St. Patrick's. Catholic. Huh. God, it could be. And then what he just said about the church bombing in the past, the year they adopted the maple leaf. This world is too weird. I know there's a guy out there that really wants to pick on this game, but man, he's look, for the guy out there who really wants to pick on this game, you've won. He hasn't missed anything in the playoffs. I've given him the right information for each game where he really won one game. I'd say just chill today, man. You've won a lot this week. I don't think, I mean, yeah, it's too iffy. Last year it went to Game 7. It could happen again. Maple Leafs do it. I'd say the Maple Leafs have the better riddle today, but knowing that they went to Game 7 last year, it all makes me uncomfortable. If the Bruins do get closed out, they finish the season on 51 wins. Boston Bruins 51. The Golden Knights aren't a payout today, but I don't see the Sharks winning this game. San Jose Sharks 111. Their season ends on the 111th day. San Jose Sharks 42. Vegas closes it out 4-2. Golden Knights 64-64 day. So I do like the Golden Knights winning. Unfortunately, they don't pay anything. And I just think letting it go on this Bruins Maple Leafs game. Oh, hold on. Let me check one more thing there. The Maple Leafs are 1-1 at home. No, never mind. That's not right. My thought I just had. Bruins. Yeah. I do think the Maple Leafs have a slightly better riddle today, but it's just not one enough to be confident in. So my favorite playoff game today is also not going to be a great payout, but just the numbers are smashing. Just 37 date numerology, Los Angeles 37, Clippers get that 37th loss. So see what happens in this Celtics-Pacers game. Okay, so today is Easter, and Easter equals 68 and 23 like sweep. On the 23-date numerology this past week, we saw both hockey teams get swept 4-0 that did get swept. There's 7 teams that can sweep today. The Marlins, the Twins, the Red Sox, and the Twins are up right now. The Twins, the Red Sox, the Mariners, the Pirates, the Reds, and the Blue Jays, all teams that could sweep. And on the 23-date numerology, 6 of 7 teams that could sweep on that date also swept. And that's interesting because here, let me just put up the 4-base ciphers. Sweep equals 67. So does that mean 6 of 7 will sweep again today on this Easter day that has the 68 and 23 numerology, or 68 and 23? So it very well could be 6 of 7 again. And maybe that's our best riddle to think about today. So the Marlins are one of the teams that have a chance. Marlins, Twins. Twins are looking good to do it. Red Sox, they got David Price. That would bust up the 85 riddle here. That just makes me wonder if this could be the one where it didn't happen. It could, though, because things haven't been going that way overwhelming. overwhelmingly. Like we've looked at a lot of things like that. We said, oh, Boston's 85, Red Sox is 85. That seems destined, and it's been 50-50. However, notice if the Red Sox did lose, they'd be 5-11. 11's the fifth prime, so you have another consistent there. This could be the game where the sweep doesn't happen. Mariners, hold on. Mariners, Pirates, Reds, Blue Jays. If the Astros win today, they're 14-7. Houston Astros is 147. I think Houston will probably get it done today. We got the Rangers upset pegged perfectly yesterday. It was all about the George Herbert Walker Bush dying at 94 ritual. I still love it. They won 9-4. So Mariners are one of these teams that could do it. Reds, I think that's probably the best riddle we can come up with. Baseball's been inconsistent, but this sweep thing is very interesting. Okay. Here, let me just go over and verify that all these teams are correct. Let me close out some windows here. Let me close out some windows. Twin schedule. Okay. All right. So the Twins, they would sweep today. They had the good riddle to sweep the doubleheader yesterday. They got that done. All right. So the Twins are going for the sweep. The Red Sox looks like the one, well, so far out of what I've observed, the one that could not possibly go this way. Okay. So the Red Sox, boom, boom. Today would be the sweep, but you got some conflicting things in the numbers. Marlins. And the Marlins have looked good to beat the Nationals in these games. We didn't do the homework as well today. But okay, if the Marlins get the sweep, remember Marlins equals 49 like Washington, maybe they have their number. Okay, but yeah, they are going for the sweep. And I know the Mariners are going for the sweep. They've won every game so far, but here, I'll put it up here in case you don't know. Big scoring, Los Angeles 53. So interesting that the game starts at 1:07 p.m. Seattle's 1:07, right? Like Russell Wilson just got the guaranteed $107 million. Okay, so Mariners going for it. Pirates are facing the Giants. Let's see. So today is the last game. Pirates. Yep, Pirates going for the sweep. And the Reds. Man, it's funny how we looked at the beginning of this Reds series and we were like, wow, this would make sense if the Reds won all these games in a row. So it very well could happen. All right, Reds. They've won 3. They're going for 4 straight here, trying to correct their season. All right, Blue Jays putting it on the Athletics. Okay. And you know what? For the rest of the season, what we're going to have to do every time we look at a series, we're just going to have to look if that series ends on a date with 23 or 68 numerology. In this case, it's Easter, which made it a little bit different. But we're going to have to look at that because that could be a great clue. Because sweeps happen a lot in baseball, and 23 and 68 numerology, the 23 is going to come up at least a couple times each month. So that could be part of the reason we're not seeing some of the riddles that seem so good. Like this first Blue Jays Athletics game looks so golden for the Athletics. Well, maybe the reason it didn't hit is because it's all about the sweep on Easter. So baseball, again, teams that can sweep today. Marlins, Twins, Red Sox, Mariners, Pirates, Reds, Blue Jays. Very interesting that it's 7 teams, and I won't be surprised if the riddle is that 6 of 7 sweep again, because we just saw 6 of 7 sweep on the 23 date numerology, and sweep equals 68, 23, and 67, like 6 of 7. So same riddle today. And I'd have to study all of these carefully to see which one is least likely to sweep. We did see a riddle for the Red Sox why they might be the team to not do it. But I'd say, you know, I'd say if you just want to put down a little bit of coin on all those remaining games, that seems like a pretty juicy narrative today. So I think maybe just leave it there so that we're not doing another 3-4 hour decode like we've been doing every day for 7 days straight for like the last month. But just one eyeball game that I see today out there is it's not a good payout, but just Houston Astros is 147. And yeah, it doesn't pay well though, so see if there's anything else that's screaming out. So let me check out the chat real quick. All right, I'm just checking out the chat real quick. You guys are excited about something. Marty's thinking the Angels and Padres bust up the sweeps, but I don't know, man. The sweep riddle looks pretty good. Caller?
Hey, how about Game of Thrones? You said the other day that you'd look into it.
I still need to. I still need to do it.
All right, so next week then.
I'll see. You know what? Since I know that the show's on Sunday, right? So I'll see if I can take a peek at those. It won't take me to. There's how many names are there to look at for the odds to be on the throne? 7.
I mean, there's more than that because they have like all the characters, but there's basically just a narrow field of Jon Snow, the Night King, and Daenerys Targaryen.
Well, I'll look at the favorites and just see if anything screams out with the. I'll look at. They probably have what date the last episode will be. I'll do some research.
They change it each week because characters can get killed off and so forth.
Okay.
There's actually like who will be like the first to die from the Starks, the Lannisters, and so forth as well.
Okay, here let me just do this real quick. Okay, so let's just do it as part of this live stream. I'm not going to do any more baseball today. I'm just saying I think the best riddle to ride is this sweep thing, and because baseball, we've been putting in a lot of energy and not getting the results we want.
Yeah, you can mix in the Mets and the Astros at the parlay, and then you can also add the Warriors into the parlay too, probably.
Well, I wouldn't put all those teams to because I mean it was 6 out of 7, so just one could bust it. What was it with the Mets game today?
I mean, it's one that has the New York 111. Simple Truth TV, he actually picked the Mets today.
Because it's the 111th day of the year. I'll just say this. What was it? It was January 11th. It was 111, and the Nets and the Knicks both lost that day.
We'll see.
So,
it's just an interesting thing. He had other stuff because of like the AAA call-up, the AAA for New York. I mean, little things like that. But I think the sweep is definitely the better play today.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know that just because I remember on January 11th I was surprised that both New York basketball teams lost. I remember that. So, but New York is 111.
So you're gonna try to do. Oh, cool! You're gonna do the stuff today.
I'm just looking at Syndergaard's stats to see if there's anything that goes. He's 38 and 23. If he stayed at 23 losses, Easter is 23. He could get his 39th win on the 111th day. New York's 39 and 111. Now that makes things interesting. So that's a double New York tribute right there if Syndergaard gets the win.
Yeah, it could be a really good day.
So
everyone that was kind of complaining about baseball early in the week could make it all back and then some.
Okay, so well, that's really because now you have the January 11th games 111. There wasn't any 39s on the board for them, but that's very interesting that Syndergaard can get his 39th win today. So, are the Yankees playing today? Yeah, they are, and they're up. The Yankees are up on the Royals on the 111th day of the year. Okay, hey, I should have thought more about the 111 thing. All right.
And then how are you on the Dodgers?
Dodgers. I don't think I did this. Clayton Kershaw's pitching. Now it's his second start of the year. He got the no decision, but the Dodgers won on Jackie Robinson Day. I know that was his first start. Clayton Kershaw. Let's see, 5-5. Wisconsin's 55. Los Angeles is 55. Are you listening to the live stream right now?
Yeah, I have it, but I mean, I have it muted.
Here, well, I'll hang up and I'll do it just because I'm doing it with one hand. I can work faster with two hands.
Yeah, go to it.
All right, here, I'll do it real quick. Let me finish looking at this Mets game real quick because it's about to start, but I am seeing that Syndergaard can get his 39th win on the 111th day. Those are the two big New York numbers. So that is really something. Dakota Hudson. See if he has any connection. Syndergaard. Syndergaard. Noah's 38. I know that. He's at 38 wins. St. Louis. Does Missouri have that connection? Missouri's 93, the reflection. Dakota Hudson. He's 4-2. St. Louis equals 43. He could become 4-3 in St. Louis. But yeah, that 39th win on the 111th day, that's a pretty knockout stat right there. I got to admit it. Well, the Dodgers are already up. What did it start off with? A home run? Leadoff home run? Leadoff home run, huh? Looks like it. Yeah, leadoff homer today. All right, let's see his guy's stats. Woodruff. I wonder if teams that carry the New York tradition will benefit today, like the Dodgers are from Brooklyn, Giants are from New York. Giants are going to get swept, though, if the sweep riddle's in effect. Why do I not see? What is this? There we go. 7-4. Now Mets is 57. His record could be 5-7 in reverse, and I'm realizing that, and I think New York Mets is 57 as well. So his record in reverse could be that. But yeah, just seeing that Syndergaard can get his 39th win on the 111th day of the year, I'm having trouble ignoring that. What's St. Louis if you write it out? 40. Okay. And Kershaw stats one more time. Kershaw was going, or no, that was 153 and 69. His next win's that big baseball number, 154. Let's see. Pitch against the Cubs. He's probably not going to pitch against the Cubs. He'll pitch against the Pirates. I'm not seeing anything that's screaming out about today's Dodgers-Milwaukee game. I know they're up 1-0, but that's nothing. Orioles put together a couple runs there. So yeah, I'd ride that sweep riddle. I'll be surprised if the Astros don't hit their mark at 14-7. That would surprise me. Houston Astros is 147. I think that Syndergaard getting his 39th win on the 111th day and the sweep riddles. So again, I'll say it slowly. Teams that can sweep today. Today is Easter. Easter equals 23 and 68. So does sweep. Sweeps historically have been connected to 68, and we saw just this past week on the date with 23 numerology. Both NHL hockey teams that got swept. And in the MLB, 6 of 7 teams that could get swept got swept. That's interesting because sweep equals 67 when you flip the alphabetic order around. 67 is also the 19th prime number. Here we are in the 2019 MLB season. I think it's very possible, since there's 7 teams that can get swept today, 6 do. So these are the ones that can get swept. Or no, these are the teams that can do the sweeping today. So these are the teams that would win. Twins, Marlins, Red Sox, Mariners, Pirates, Reds, Blue Jays. These are the teams that would win today to sweep the opponent. So the Marlins would win, the Twins would win, the Red Sox would win, the Mariners would win, the Pirates would win, the Reds would win, the Blue Jays would win. And we did see a riddle on the surface why the Red Sox could be the team that didn't sweep. David Price is pitching against his old team. If the Red Sox lost, they'd be 5-11. That's the prime number thing. 11's the 5th prime. And if the Rays won, they'd be 8-5. Boston's 85. Red Sox is 85. So if one's not going to sweep, I'm just, part of me's going, will it be this one that doesn't sweep? But it looks like the Red Sox, though, are doing something early. They got a chance that, well, they could leave the runner stranded, but they got a runner in scoring position in the top of the first. So if I was going to do this sweep thing, I would just take all the teams with a chance to sweep and hope that it comes through at a ratio of 6-7, just like it did earlier this week on the 23-day. And one more time in the playoffs, we're probably halftime here. It's our halftime score. Very interesting that the Pacers are up with 49 points. They'd get their 49th win of the season. Celtics at 47 points. Indiana 47. Just never fails. But if the Pacers win today, the Celtics will be 52-34 total for the season. Indiana's 52-34. The Pacers will remain at 37 losses on the 37-date numerology. Pacers equals 37. They'll live to see another day. They might have a prayer to win in Boston, because Boston's 32. We saw the death of the Boston basketball player on a 32 date, or maybe it was March 2nd at age 32. So we'd evaluate that game 5 if it comes up. But Pacers, I think they will hold off the Celtics today. They were the underdog, so my advice was to take those few points that you had, just in case they do get closed out today. If they got closed out, the riddle would be them staying at 48 wins. Boston Celtics is 48. The Warriors are the game that would really surprise me if they did not beat the Clippers today. That would be a big surprise to me. Today has 37-date numerology. Clippers equals, or excuse me, Los Angeles equals 37. 37-date. Clippers pick up the 37th loss in Los Angeles on the fitting date. I really do like the Warriors winning this series 4-1, like we said before it began. LA's 41, Golden State's 41, Oakland's 41. Game 5's on a date with 22 numerology. Oakland and basketball are 22. Raptors and Magic is very iffy today. Very iffy. I would personally lay off the game. I'm not sure what this Magic team's going to do. Today has a lesser numerology of 44. It could go either way. The Magic could stay on 44 wins against the Raptors, or they could get their 44th win of the season. If you just got to bet it, hey, you know what's interesting is that the over-under is right at 207, and Toronto Maple Leafs is 207, and they reported 207 people dead today. We had the caller phone in and talk about how today's 421, 421 is the 82nd prime. Raptors equals 82. Could that be a sign for them? So not crazy about this game. If you made me make a pick, I'd bet the Magic to cover again, just like for the last game. Raptors equals 55. The line's right at 5.5 again. Same place it was last time. We did see that if somehow this goes to Game 7, Game 7's on the 117th day of the year, and Toronto's 117. Florida's 43. It's also a date with 43 numerology, that Game 7. So I'd say if the Magic win today, this probably will go 7 games. I have a feeling it will. But tight one there. And same thing with the Blazers and Thunder's game. If the Thunder win today, the next game in Oklahoma City would be Game 6, and that game is on a date with 41 numerology, and Oklahoma City could get their 41st loss all time against the Blazers at home. So that's really got me wondering. And personally, I would lay off here just because this series has not followed the date numerology pattern. The only clear theme in any game so far has been the Thunder winning on the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. So, you know, I just got to lay off. Part of me wants to say I'd take the Thunder because that makes more sense for the Blazers to give them that 41st home loss in Game 6. But again, the first 2 games of this series did not follow the date numerology pattern. This series, caller?
Yes, I wanted to say for the Warriors, I think 3-1 is going to be a huge thing for them in this playoffs. They gave a 31-point lead to the Clippers in Game 2. The 3-1 lead they gave it to the Cavaliers. They had core of Draymond, Steph, Clay, 3 guys. They added KD. And if KD leaves, it makes sense because that's the one that they're losing, the end of the dynasty. LeBron, he gets his 3-peat in the next 3 years. And they brought back Bogut. It was an original member of that team that won when they gave the 3-1 lead. And that was his last season with them.
Okay, so you're just essentially saying like the Warriors to go up 3-1.
Right. If there's ever like any type of chance in this playoffs with them being up 3-1, like always go with that. Like I don't think that they'll sweep any series.
And I agree. Oakland also carries a Gematria value of 31. So yeah, right. I like the Warriors a lot today.
Right.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Appreciate it. That is a good point about how they blew that 31-point lead on the 31 date numerology. But again, it's two NBA games that I like today. It's the Pacers extending it and the Warriors beating the Clippers. And in the NHL, there's only one game that that would surprise me, and that if the Sharks won today, I would be surprised. We talked about why the Sharks should win the last game, which they did, to get to this game to be closed out. Today's the 111th day of the year. San Jose Sharks equals 111 and 42. 111, they can get closed out 4-2 today. Today also has the 64 date numerology, Golden Knights 64. So it seems like a perfect date for the Golden Knights to advance and to close out the Sharks. It looked like a perfect riddle. So we had confidence in the Sharks last game. So so you can tell that the money is going even more and more to Vegas. All the money's on this Vegas team. They want some people to bet the Sharks. Even though all the money's there on the Golden Knights, I personally wouldn't bet the game because it hardly pays anything. But I'm just saying I'd be surprised if the Sharks won. I'd be very surprised. So I don't think it's worth betting them to upset. If you want to bet on the Sharks to cover, and the Golden Knights could murder the Sharks. So I just won't even bet on the game. I'm just saying that that's who I expect to win. But I'm also saying that so if you think the Sharks are going to upset, I would be real surprised. So I don't think it's worth picking them to upset. To cover, maybe. You just never know. There's a lot of one-goal games in the NHL, but Golden Knights could absolutely slaughter the Sharks. You just don't know. So I would just I'd lay off it. I'm hoping the Maple Leafs close out the Bruins tonight. But this series went to 7 games last year. So could it happen again? Could it be deja vu? Sports loves riddles like that. So personally, I'm laying low on the NHL today. We did well. We've done well in the playoffs. We don't need to bet on every game. So there's plenty of more playoff games ahead. There's going to be plenty of more good reads. We don't have to get greedy today. Baseball hasn't been our friend this week, but maybe the sweep riddle today can get us back in good spirits. So just one more time, teams that can sweep today, and today has the connection to sweep: Marlins, Twins, Red Sox, Mariners, Pirates, Reds, Blue Jays. And I'll tell you what, my lady just gave me a signal. She wants me to make some food. What time do I want to do this at? You know what, you guys, I will look at the odds and stuff for this Game of Thrones thing, since you can bet on it, and I'll figure out I'll upload a video on what I see, if I see anything, okay? And I'll do that today before the show starts, okay? So just look for that video to be uploaded about Game of Thrones. So teams that can sweep in baseball on the sweep date, one more time: Marlins, Twins, Red Sox, Mariners, Pirates, Reds, Blue Jays. If I was going to lay off any in that list, I'd probably lay off that Red Sox game. Just because they can do the prime number thing, and the Tampa Bay can be 8-5 at home, and Boston's 85 and Red Sox is 85. So not sure about that one, but that's it for the day, you guys. So good luck to you. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And until next time.